So here on Pure 24/7 Radio, it is now time for today's Breakfast Bite. I'm very pleased to welcome our guest, a regular Monday guest, Pete Baker from Life Church, Lancashire. Hi, Pete. How you doing?
Very good, Nathan. Yeah, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks. It's great to be here with you today, and good to be on for another Breakfast Bite. Last week you talked to us about was it prayer, which is a really sort of powerful subject, and the week of prayer and everything that was going on recently.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, yeah. We talked about the Global Week of Prayer, and I introduced the Alpha course.
yeah,
Yeah, so the idea was to go through the different sessions of the Alpha course. So, um, yeah, Alpha course is an amazing course that's helped introduce thousands of people to the Christian faith. Millions of people have done the Alpha course worldwide. So I'd really encourage people to go and check out Alpha online, alpha.org. Is the website. All the videos are on YouTube. If you just search Alpha Course on YouTube, you'll find all the videos. But we're doing the Alpha Course in different parts of our community with our Farsi speaking group, which are mainly Iranians, with our young people in our church building, and also in the two groceries that we run. We're running the Alpha Course at the moment. We had 90 people on week one, which was wonderful. And so, yeah, part two of the Alpha course, and I guess our breakfast bite for this morning is the big question: who is Jesus? And that's the big question that we look at in week two of Alpha. Who is Jesus? Did he really exist? And what do we make of his life, his death, and the claims of his resurrection? You know, C.S. Lewis kind of has his famous trilemma, and he said it much more articulately than this. But essentially, C.S. Lewis made the argument to say, Jesus claimed to be the Son of God. So either he was mad, bad, or God. He was either mad, deluded. Some people go around claiming to be all kinds of things. I once got on a taxi with a guy who claimed he'd invented the internet. Um, and I was scared because I was thinking, I don't think this guy invented the internet. Um, oh wow, I'm in the taxi with the guy that invented the internet. So some people are deluded. Some people will say things about themselves, make claims about themselves that aren't true. They're deluded, insane, you might say. So Jesus was either mad, deluded, insane, or evil. He went around saying he was the Son of God, knowing he wasn't. Not deluded. He knew that he wasn't the Son of God, and he went around telling people and doing miracles, or he was, or he was in fact, and is in fact, the living Son of God. So that was C.S. Lewis's kind of trilemma on one of these three options. Only one can be true. They can't all be true. There doesn't seem to be another logical option. It's either mad, bad, or God. And the conclusion, of course, that Christians make is that he is God, that he is the Son of God, and that in his miraculous birth, in his incredible life with his teaching and his miracles, his death, his sacrificial death, and then his glorious resurrection, that he demonstrates that he is indeed the Messiah, the Son of the living God, God in human form, and that through the testimony of billions of Christians over the past 2,000 years is that they've had an encounter with the risen Christ too. And so I guess for all of our listeners this morning, the question for you is, who is Jesus? Have you investigated the evidence? Have you thought about it? Have you asked that question? Jesus once asked Peter the question, Peter the disciple. He asked all of his disciples actually, who do people say I am? Some said, you're a prophet. Some say, you're Elijah. And then he says to him, well, who do you say I am? And Peter says, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus says, this was not revealed to you by humans. This is revealed to you by my Father in heaven. And upon this rock, upon the confession of your faith, I'll build my church. And so, that's the question. Who do you say he is? Who is Jesus to you? If you kind of imagined the question, Jesus is blank question mark. There's a great book by Judah Smith called Jesus Is that asks that question. Who is Jesus? Who do you say he is? Have you investigated the claims of his birth, life, teaching, death, and resurrection? And maybe that's something for you all of our listeners to think about today. Who is Jesus to you? Who do you say Jesus is? I really encourage you to go on this alpha journey. Like I said, check out where there's an alpha course happening near you, get involved, get signed up, and go on this great faith adventure.
Indeed. That is a powerful question and a very important question. And I've heard of that trilemma before. It's
Mm,
quite a powerful apologetics argument because, of course,
yeah,
you've got those three options, and evidence would suggest that it is the latter, that he is God. But of course,
yeah,
that is a really powerful argument. It's a really good one to sort of debate and understand. Well, obviously there are
yeah.
two other options. Maybe he was deluded. Maybe he knew it wasn't true. And there are a lot of people who accused him of both, actually.
Mm,
But yeah, it's an interesting question and a really good thought
yeah.
for us
And
today.
if you come to the conclusion that he's God, well, then that's the beginning of the Christian faith. So yeah, so maybe for some of our listeners today, that's the beginning of your faith journey. The realization of, well, I think he might be God. Therefore, what does that mean for your life? What does that mean for your relationship with him? But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, very true. Of course, that is the beginning of, isn't it, of the Christian faith, isn't it? It's choosing to put your faith
mm,
in Him. And when you put your faith in Him, you're saying, "Okay, I believe what you've said about yourself to be true."
yeah,
But the great thing is actually, as you say about this Alpha course, it's a really good opportunity to ask these questions because Jesus isn't going
yes,
to turn us away because we don't just blindly believe. He wants us to ask questions. He wants us to. I mean,
mm,
his own disciples had questions, and they said, "Well, this doesn't make any sense," and he helped them to understand. So,
mm,
having questions is not a problem. In fact, that is a good thing because that shows you want to know the truth.
100%, 100%,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Well,
wonderful.
thank you so much, Pete. It's been a pleasure as
Thank
always.
you.
Enjoy the rest of your week.
Yeah, you too. Bless you.
Did you know that at Pure 24/7 Radio we also offer advertising? Advertising really does work. Let's face it, you're listening to this. Want to know more? Well, just go to pure247radio.org, pure247radio.org/advertising, and you can get everything you want and more there.